Good day, students. And so grade 10 students. So we're now done discussing the installation of application software. So yun yung lesson 3 natin. So we're now going to proceed with our next topic, which is the disk management software. So again, so Sir Ian or Sir Yasu. So to begin with, so let's start first by stating our objectives for this lesson. So first, we are going to identify the different disk management software, and the next, going to diagnose computer problems and determine which computer device is not functioning correctly, and we're going to apply proper step-by-step procedures in diagnosing computer by using different disk management software. So ito yung mga objectives natin for today. So I hope ma-meet natin siya, or I hope matuto tayo dito sa lesson natin for this day. So kasi marami tayong ma-apply when it comes to the disk management software. Okay? So, but before we start our discussion proper, so let's have first the pre-test. So again, yung pre-test, makakatulong to para ma-check natin if meron na ba tayong knowledge about the lesson. So if meron na tayong knowledge, syempre may madadagdagan yung knowledge natin. If wala naman, so madadagdagan pa rin. So kasi may mga insight dito na kala natin, alam na natin, pero iba pala yung pagkakaintindi natin. Okay? So I hope medyo malinawan tayo pagdating sa iba't ibang disk management softwares. So first, can I? So sagutin na natin ito with yes or no. So sa sarili nyo na lang, di naman ito recorded. So determine requirements of task in accordance with the required output. So kaya ko ba yun? Kaya nyo ba yun? And then next is select appropriate procedures for managing hard disk and the volumes or partition according to task assigned and required outcome. The next, plan a task to ensure that OHS guidelines and procedures are followed during maintenance. And then lastly, can I follow client-specific guidelines and procedures? So if hindi natin alam yung mga terminologies na ganyan, so at the end of the lesson, madidiscover natin yan, and I hope marami tayong matutunan with this topic. Okay? So let's start with our discussion proper. But before that, so let's define first the disk management. So ano ba pag sinabing disk management? Okay? So it is a system utility for managing hard disk and the volumes or partition that they contain. So kung sa hardware components natin, kasi 'di ba, for example, you have hard disk, yung pinaka-physical talaga, or you have motherboard. So paano siya i-maintain? So through the use of different cleaning tools, so pwede nating i-maintain 'yon. Tatanggalin natin yung mga dust. So i-remove natin yung unwanted dust, and then sometimes for example, yung memory natin medyo madumi na, so gagamit tayo ng memory cleaner or RAM cleaner para matanggal yung mga dumi, and then mag-perform pa rin ng maigi yung part. So in disk management, so sa software na siya, so hindi siya nagdi-deal physically. So it deals with the non-physical part, which is yung software. Okay? So para ma-maintain natin yung hard drive natin or hard disk into its well or good performance, so we need to have this disk management. So tatanggalin natin yung mga unwanted files, i-delete natin yung mga errors, i-correct natin yung errors. So yun yung purpose ni disk management. Okay? So ano yung features ng disk management? So it has several features. First, simplified task and intuitive user interface. So disk management is easy to use. Mamaya ipapakita natin yan, yung different disk management. Then basic and dynamic storage. So basic disk contains basic volumes such as primary partition. So meron tayong logical drive in extended partition. So yung mga different partition. So madidiscuss din natin yan. And then local and remote disk management. So you can manage any remote computer operator group or administrators group. So pwede yung ma-access remotely. So pag sinabing remotely, kahit wala ka dito or kahit wala ka sa computer mo and connected naman kayo yung dalawang PC, kahit nasa malayo siya, pwede mo makontrol yon, and then pwede ka pa rin makapag-perform ng disk management. And then so those are the features. So marami pa siyang features. So pwede nating i-search kung ano ba yung iba't ibang additional features ng disk management. Pero i-deal natin ngayon yan, and then we have the different software under disk management. So we have 4. So we have the disk partition, we have the disk cleanup, disk check, and then disk defragmenter. So bawat isang software na yan, may kanya-kanya silang function. Okay? So, madidiscuss natin yan and then also didiscuss natin one by one and then paano ba sila i-perform. So, may mga videos tayo na makakatulong sa atin paano ba i-perform yung disk partition, disk cleanup, disk check, and then disk defragmenter. And then ano ba yung mga purpose ng mga yan. Okay? So, first, let's start with the disk partition. Okay? So, procedures, we have two procedures or two methods in performing or in opening disk management. Okay? So, ito sa, ano na to? Dito yan sa disk partition banda. Okay? So, disk management, paano ba siya buksan? We have two methods. Method number 1 using control panel and then method number 2 using run dialog box. So, dito muna tayo sa method number 1. Tingnan natin kung paano i-open yung disk management gamit si control panel. To open disk management using control panel, so click the start menu and then type control panel. Click. Then step number 2, click systems and security. Okay, then step number 3, under system and security, you're going to click on the administrative tools. Then inside the administrative tools, you're going to click on the computer management, double click. And then step number 5, inside the computer management, click on the storage. Okay, then step number 6, under storage, so click on the disk management. Okay, and then below disk management screen will appear. Okay, and then for the last step, now you can view or manage disk drives from here. Okay, okay, so yun yung first step ng disk or kung paano natin i-open si disk management. Okay, so next naman is yung method number 2, which is how to open using the run dialog box. To open disk management using the run dialog box, so first step, click the search bar and then type run and then click run. Then for the second step, run dialog box screen will appear, and then for the third step, you're going to type disk mgmt.msc and click OK. Then here, disk management screen will appear. Okay, and then now you can use it for viewing or managing your drives. Ayan, so those are the steps or methods. So kung saan kayo komportable, kung sa control panel ba or sa run dialog box. So any of the two, pwede kayo makapag-open ng disk management. Okay? So proceed tayo sa next. So disk partition. So now that we can open disk management, so proceed tayo sa iba't ibang function or iba't ibang software na under ng disk management. First, we have the disk partition. So when we say disk partition, partitioning divides a hard disk drive into multiple logical storage unit to treat one physical disk drive as if it were multiple disks so that different file system can be used on each partition. So ano ba yung sinabing disk partition? 'Di ba sa computer natin, sa system unit. So pag open natin ng system unit, binuksan natin si system unit, and then nakakita tayo doon ng isang hard disk drive. Eh bakit kaya pag nag-open tayo ng computer natin, ng disk PC or ng file explorer natin. So, bakit meron tayong dalawang hard drive? Ibig sabihin ba niyan, dalawa yung hard drive na meron ako sa computer? So, diyan pumapasok ngayon si partition. So, lumalabas, logically, dalawa yung hard drive natin dito. So, ibig sabihin, logic, ibig sabihin sa part lang yun ng computer, sa loob na, sa software na siya, sa system na. Pero, in reality, isa lang talaga yung hard drive natin. Paano magagawa yan? So, with the use of disk partition, we can divide one physical hard drive into multiple hard drives. So, when you say multiple, hindi lang isa, pwedeng dalawa, pwedeng tatlo, pwedeng apat, para mas maganda or mas organize yung paglalagay natin ng files. Kasi for example, meron kang iba't ibang, for example, sa school, may iba't ibang assignment ka or may iba't ibang function yung computer mo. So, pwede ka maglagay ng isang drive for the operating system, then dito yung mga files mo, Then sa isa yung, for example, naglalaro ka, so naglagay ka dito ng games, or naglagay ka pa ng isa pa, so pwede yon. So para mas ma-manage natin, or para dumami yung partitioning ng hard drive natin, so gagamit tayo ng disk partition. So para yung isa yung hard drive, pwede siyang dumami. So ano ba yung benefits ng multiple partitioning? So first, yan, separation of the operating system and program files from user files. So ito yung pinaka-good reason kung bakit tayo, or the best na benefit ng isang partitioning. So masa-separate natin yung operating system sa ating files, sa files natin. Kasi for example, sa drive C ka lang, so lahat ng files mo isa lang. Pwede kasing isa lang. Halimbawa, isang hard drive, isa lang, pwede yon. So, anong nangyayari, kasama si operating system, kasama lahat. Nag-corrupt si operating system. So, may tendency na pag dinelete si operating system, kasama pati yung files natin. So, isang benefit yon, isang good or best benefit ng partitioning. So, pwede nating ihiwalay si operating system natin sa mga data files lang natin. Okay? Para pag nag-recover tayo ng files, so ang i-recover na lang natin is yung D. Or for example, gusto natin i-reformat yung computer. Pag ni-reformat ko tong drive C, yung operating system, hindi masasama yung files natin. So, pwede yon. Okay? So, next, keeping frequently used programs and data near each other. Ayan. So, since yung mga data, for example, yung data files nyo sa school, so, pwede yung ilagay dito. Dito lang lahat. So, nandito lang siya. Sama-sama na sila. Okay? Next, use of multi-boot setup which allows users to have more than one operating system. So, pwede yan. So, sa multiple partitioning, for example, nasa drive C, yung Windows 8, nasa drive D, Windows 10, sa drive E, Windows 11. So, pwede yon. So, ang mangyayari noon, pag nag-open si computer, mamimili kayo doon kung anong operating system yung gagamitin ninyo. Okay? Then next, number 4, protecting or isolating files to make it easier to recover a corrupted file system or operating system installation. Yun yung sinasabi ko kanina. Wherein, for example, nag-corrupt yung isang drive, so ma-recover mo pa yung isang drive. So, pag nag-corrupt yung drive D, so hindi damay si drive C. Okay? So, yun yung best benefit din ng multiple partitioning. So, next naman, how about, syempre, kung may benefit, meron din namang disadvantages. So, syempre, kung may cons, kung may pros, meron din cons. So, ano ba yung mga disadvantages ng multiple partitioning? So first, it reduces the total space available for user storage on the disk. So since yung drive natin, yung pinaka hard disk drive natin, i-divide natin into several disk drives. So anong nangyayari dyan is yung so kumakain siya ng konting space. So pag nag-open ka ng virtual or logical additional drive, so kakain siya ng konting space, mga MB lang naman. Siguro mga 50, 40 MB para makapag-create ng another partition. So yun yung isang disadvantage. Syempre pag marami, so may masasayang na konting space dun sa hard drive natin. Okay? Sa total drive natin. Then ano pa? So reduces overall disk performance on system since marami sila. So, baka may tendency na ma-reduce yung overall performance. And then 3, increases disk fragmentation because it lowers the average size of continuous free blocks on each partition. So, disk defragmentation or disk fragmentation. So, mamaya, madidiscuss din natin yan. And then, may prevent using the whole disk capacity. So, for example, you have 1 terabyte hard drive. So, baka hindi mo magamit yung buong 1 terabyte since marami kang partition. Okay? Pero, syempre, mas good pa rin na gumamit tayo ng multiple partition kahit 2 o 3. Okay na yon. So, wag nyo lang dadamihan ng todo. Okay? So, in this, we have 3 partitioning operation. So, we have creating partition, formatting partition, deleting partition. So, in the next lesson, in the next video, so, ipapakita ko dyan, paano ba mag-create ng partition and then next, paano ba mag-format ng partition? When you say format, buburahin yung laman. And then the last is paano ba mag-delete ng partition? For example, gusto mo nang tanggalin yung drive D, gusto mo nang ilipat lahat ng space niya into drive C. So, pwede yon. So, pwede mong ibalik yon. So, or gusto mo naman dagdagan ng drive E or drive F. So babawasan mo tong total na 465. So magiging 3 ano na siya, for example 400. So pwede rin 'yon. So madadagdagan yung isa. So okay. So let's watch this partition. Okay, so in this part, we're going to perform partitioning operation. So it includes creating partition, formatting partition, and then deleting partition. So as you can see dito sa computer natin, so we have two partition. We have letter C and then we have letter D. So kahit isa lang yung hard drive na nakalagay sa computer natin, so lumalabas na parang dalawa yung hard drive na meron tayo. So ang ginawa lang doon, hinati lang yung laman. Depende sa pagkakahati natin. So ang gagawin natin ngayon, mag-add tayo ng additional drive. So maglalagay tayo ng ibang letter naman. So kahit kasi ibang letter 'yan. So hindi lang laging C, hindi lang laging D. So depends sa inyo 'yan. So punta tayo sa disk management. So close muna ulit natin lahat. So Windows R, then disk management. Then lakihan natin ng konti. So ito yung drive natin. So we have one hard disk drive na nakalagay, isang storage device. So we have C and then we have D. So to create partition, so dapat syempre may space pa. So 'di ba nakita naman natin kanina, yung D 388 gig free pa. So out of 465. So ibig sabihin nasa 100 or less than 100 pa lang yung nagagamit. So paano mag-create ng partition? So since D, ito yung D, so this drive D, yung may malaking space, yung drive C kasi 57 gig na lang yung available. So dito tayo sa drive D. So right click and then shrink volume. Ayan, so nakalagay dito total size, ito yon. Then enter the amount of space to shrink. So ilan daw? So ang every 1 gig kasi is 1024. So for example, gusto natin mga target natin is mga 50 gig lang, for example lang 50 gig. So i-ano na lang natin, ano tawag dito, i-round off na lang natin. So lagyan na lang natin 50,000. So assume na lang natin na 50 gig yan, then shrink. Then magkakaroon tayo ng unallocated. So itong unallocated, so ito na ngayon yung gagawa natin ng drive. So kung mapapansin natin, nabawasan yung dating drive D. Ayan. So 416 gig na lang yung free niya. Or yung total capacity ng drive D kasi tinanggalan natin yung ibang portion. Okay? So mapupunta ngayon siya sa unallocated. So ayan, yung kulay black. And then maglalagay na tayo ng partition. So right click and then new simple volume, then click next. Then next. Then anong letter? So for example, gusto niyo letter P. Ayan. Then click next. And then label, ano yung pangalan ng drive or ano yung pangalan nung pinaka-drive natin. So for example, games, para sa games to. Then click next, finish. Then magpo-format lang yung saglit and then magkakaroon na tayo ng another drive. So balik tayo dito sa computer natin. So sa this PC, ayan. So meron na tayong drive C, drive D, tsaka drive P. So ang case na to, pwede tayo mag-save ng ano lang, games lang sa drive P. So mas organized na siya. So for example, sa drive C yung operating system natin, and then yung application sa drive D, nandito yung mga data natin, and then sa drive P, nandito yung mga games natin. So mas organized na ngayon siya. For example, ito yung next part, halimbawa may laman na to. So games, game 1, tapos lagay tayo ng game 2, and then gusto natin i-delete or i-format yung partition natin. So ibig sabihin nun, gusto natin burahin lahat ng laman ng isang partition. So paano ba natin gagawin yon? So to simply format the partition, so balik tayo sa disk management. So right click and then format. Okay? So perform a quick format, then click OK, then OK. So ang sabi doon, mag-ingat pagka nag-okay kasi mabubura lahat ng files na nakalagay doon. So kanina 'di ba naglagay tayo ng game 1 tsaka game 2. So tingnan natin kung nawala. Okay? So nawala na lahat ng laman ng game 1 and then game 2. So yun yung pag-format ng partition. And then how about how to delete partition? So kasi for example, wala ka ng games. So ang gagawin mo lang, gusto mong ibalik yung laman nito papunta dito sa drive D kasi napupuno na yung disk drive D mo eh. So paano natin gagawin yon? So to dissolve partition. So right click and then delete volume. Then yes. So ayun nakalagay, deleting this volume will erase all data. So dapat wala kayong laman na data dyan. So if you have important files, so pwede nyo i-backup muna. And then bago kayo mag-perform ng deleting partition. Okay, so kung wala na, kung okay na, click yes. Then magiging unallocated ulit siya. Tapos paano naman natin siya ibabalik sa drive D? So right click and then extend. So ibig sabihin noon yung capacity niya dadagdagan natin. Depende kung ilan yung idadagdag. Okay? Na unallocated dapat. So click next. Ayan. Then next, finish. So kung papansin natin, yung dating 416 naging 465 na ulit. So na-extend na natin yung volume. At the same time, na-delete natin yung isang partition. So ganun lang yung kung paano mag-create, mag-format, and then mag-delete ng partition. So pero syempre mag-ingat lang din, especially sa drive C, kasi nandito madalas yung operating system natin. So pagka na-right click natin yan and then format or delete, so may tendency na ma-erase yung data natin or mag-crash yung pinaka-system natin. Okay? So that's it. Ayan. So ganun kung paano mag-create and then delete tsaka format ng partition. So creating, again, napakaganda kung paano, kung for example gusto natin ma-organize yung pinaka-hard drive natin, gusto natin i-separate. So gusto natin magkaroon ng bawat category yung drive natin. Halimbawa, meron tayong mga files, mga important files, yung mga temporary files. So pwede natin gawa ng iba't ibang partition. Okay? So yun yung function ni disk partition. Next naman, next software is the disk cleanup. So to free up space on the hard drive, disk cleanup searches your drive and then shows your temporary files, internet cache files, and unnecessary program files that you can safely delete. So yung disk cleanup naman, so kasi pag nag-i-install tayo, for example, nag-install tayo ng application, Microsoft Word, and then nag-uninstall na tayo, so ni-remove natin yung isang application. So hindi lahat mabubura, okay? So hindi lahat mabubura. For example, napakadami na natin in-install, and napakarami ring unwanted files. So, ang mangyayari noon, para mabura lahat ng yon, nang hindi na natin pinupuntahan bawat folder, so gagamit tayo ng disk cleanup. So, parang sa cellphone to, di ba sa cellphone meron tayong parang free up space, parang free storage. I-boost natin yung pinaka system natin. So, parang ganun din si disk cleanup. So, i-remove niya lahat ng temporary files, yung mga unnecessary files, para ma-free up space yung storage natin. For example, remaining na lang is 50 gig. Nag-disk cleanup tayo. So, sometimes nagiging 60 gig, 70 gig. So, may mga ganong cases. Okay? So, depende sa dami ng temporary and unwanted files. And tatanungin naman kayo muna nun kung i-delete ba natin to o hindi. Okay? So, these are the list of the files that can be deleted. Ayan. So, we have the downloaded program files. We have the temporary internet files. Offline web pages, file for the recycle bin, temporary files, web client, publisher, temporary files, compressed old files, then catalog files for the content indexer. So pag nag-perform tayo ng disk cleanup, so mangyayari nun, lalabas lahat ng yan. Okay? So kung merong nakalagay doon, so i-check nyo muna if good ba siya i-delete na o hindi pa. Lalo na yung nasa recycle bin. Kasi may mga kumukuha pa sa recycle bin ng mga files, so, kasi baka nagkamali lang ng delete. So may naman yon, may tawag dito, may checkbox if i-delete ba o hindi. Okay? So ito yung step kung paano delete files, mag-delete ng files, disk cleanup. Ayan. So kasi 'di ba meron tayong mga unwanted files or mga files na temporary files na hindi naman natin talaga kailangan. So para tayo nag-free up ng space dito. So to do that, so click start or the search bar and then type disk cleanup and click. And then you're going to select which drive you want to perform disk cleanup. So if you have 2 drives, so pwedeng isa. So ngayon yung isa, then mamaya after nung drive C, yung drive D naman. So let's try. So let's disk cleanup drive C. Then click OK. Then and then magpe-perform siya ng disk cleanup. So this may take a few minutes to complete, depende sa laki ng pinaka drive natin or sa kung ilan yung files na laman niya. And then depende rin kung ilan yung downloaded files, yung mga temporary files, yung mga offline web pages, or yung mga files na hindi naman talaga natin kailangan. So para mag-free up space, para mas bumilis ng konti, yung pinaka-computer natin. Ayan, so ano siya, mag-i-scan, and then i-delete niya lahat ng hindi na talaga kailangan. So kasi pag nag-install tayo and then pag nag-uninstall, so may mga files na naiiwan pa rin. So ang function ni disk cleanup is para ma-delete yung mga files na yon at para ma-free ng space sa computer natin. Okay? Ayan. So, ganun yung function ni disk cleanup. Okay, so nakita naman natin kung paano mag-perform ng disk cleanup. So, try niya sa mga computers niyo sa bahay. So, for example, meron kayong computer and then nababagalan kayo, bakit parang napakabagal. So, try niyo rin mag-disk cleanup. So, baka bumilis kahit papaano yung computers natin. Okay? So, next naman, after ni partition, after ni disk cleanup, so we have this disk check. So ano ba yung function ni disk check? So it is used to analyze hard drive errors and run repairs automatically. So it can be a lifesaver for dealing with non-physical hard drive faults. So ang function naman ni disk check or check disk, sometimes check disk kasi yung nakalagay dito. So anong ginagawa niya? Tinitignan niya yung drive if meron bang mga errors. So nagra-run siya ng isang system run, parang ganon. And then i-check niya if meron bang error, and then ang gagawin niya is i-automatically repair niya or i-automatic niyang repair yung error na yon. So para for example, biglang nag-crash yung isang application doon or isang software doon, so ayusin niya yon. So yun yung function ni disk check. Kasi minsan, halimbawa, na-turn off natin yung computer nang hindi sinasadya, nasagi, nasipa, bigla namatay si PC, then pagbukas natin, ayaw nang gumana or may lalabas doon, to perform this check, wag nyo i-skip yung step na to. Or bigla nag-error na yung PC natin. So, try natin i-perform si disk check. Okay? Para makita niya if may mga errors ba na pwedeng i-repair kay hard drive. Okay? Yung non-physical. Kasi pag physical na talaga, when we say physical, yung hardware na mismo, nagka-dents na or nabasag, yung pinaka-hard drive. So, hindi na mare-repair syempre ng disk check. So, ang kaya lang ni disk check is yung non-tangible or yung software na may mga errors. Okay? So, paano naman mag-perform ng disk check dito sa computer natin? Okay, so next naman is performing disk check. So, na-discuss natin kung anong function ng disk check. So, paano mag-open ng disk check? So, on your keyboard, press Windows logo plus E. Yan, shortcut key yan ng this PC or yung file explorer natin. So, pagka hindi naman mapindot sa keyboard, so pwedeng pindutin yung pinaka-folder logo dito. And then, right-click on the folder or the drive you wish to perform disk check. So, for example, magdi-disk check tayo sa drive D. So, right-click yung drive D and then click on the properties. Okay? So, under the properties tab or toolbox, yan. So, click natin yung tools and then click check. Okay? So, for the step 3, so nakalagay naman doon, if your PC thinks everything is running smoothly, so maglalagay siya dyan ng you don't need to scan this drive. Pero if you want to perform, kahit nakalagay yun dyan, so pwede rin naman yun. For assurance lang talaga. Parang for double checking. So, to do that, so click scan drive. Then, magpe-perform yan ng scanning. So, titignan niya if may mga error dun sa drive natin. So, depende yan sa laman or depende sa kung gaano kalaki yung file na nakalagay dun sa pinaka-drive. Okay? So, yung last step niyan, so if everything is well or everything is okay naman, so lalagay dyan, your drive was successfully scanned. Okay? However, if merong error, so i-fix na yun. So, it will attempt to fix kung ano ba yung kaya niyang i-fix. So, yun yung function ni disk check. Okay? Ayan. So, nakita natin kung paano mag-run ng disk check. So, check disk. Kasi pwede rin yan sa command prompt. So, kung medyo familiar kayo sa command prompt, so check disk yung nilalagay din doon. Kung gusto niyo lahat pa talaga. So, kasi dito sa ginawa natin yung step is focus siya sa isang drive. So, pwedeng drive C, pwedeng drive D lang. So, pwedeng ganon. Pero pwedeng isang buong kabuuan na talaga siya. So, i-research nyo yan sa may command prompt yun. Okay? So, next naman, so after disk partition, after disk cleanup, and then after disk check, so the last is the disk defragmenter. So, ano naman pag sinabing disk defragmenter? So, it rearranges data so your disk and drives can work more efficiently. So, kasi may mga files tayo na parang kalat-kalat. So, ganun yung nakikita ng computer sa kanya. So, kalat-kalat yung files. So, may files dito, may files doon, pero pares lang naman sila. So, ang function ni this defragmenter, kino-combine niya yung mga ganong files, nire-arrange niya into one. So, kaya mag-ingat tayo sa this defragmenter. Meron ba dito na? So, ginagamit lang si this defragmenter kapag kapag ka good yung pinaka-program natin, yung computer natin. So, wag tayo magdi-disk defragment pagka may accident tayong na-delete na file. Kasi ang tendency nun, baka ma-overwrite niya na yung files na ganon. So, hindi na natin ma-recover yung file. Okay? Pero, magandang function din yan kasi mas mag-free yung space din ng storage natin. So, mas bibilis din si computer natin. Okay? So, ito yung kung paano mag-open naman ng disk defragmenter. In this part, we're going to perform defragmenting. Okay? So, to do that, so click start or click the search bar and then type defrag. Then you're going to click defragment and optimize drive. Okay? So lalabas dito yung available drives na meron tayo. So we have drive C and then we have the drive D. So pipiliin natin yung drive na i-defrag natin. So again, mag-ingat. So dapat pagka nagkaroon kayo ng accidental deletion ng file, so huwag kayong magde-defragment kasi baka ma-overwrite niya yung na-delete na file. So hindi nyo na ma-recover. Okay? So, paano gawin yan? Yung mag-defragment. So, for example, drive D. So, ito yung last run kung kailan. So, click optimize lang. Ayan, then tapos na siya. So, depende yan sa laki ng file natin and then depende rin kung gaano katagal na tayo nagde-defrag. Kasi pagka last lang, for example, kahapon lang, mas mabilis yan matapos. Pero pagka medyo matagal na and then maraming files, medyo may katagalan ng konti yan. Okay? So, ganun lang mag-perform ng disk defragment. Yan. So, review lang ng konti. So, those are the different software ng disk management. So, nakita natin yung benefits or yung function ng bawat isa. So, disk partition. So, ang function ng disk partitions, i-summarize lang natin ng konti. So, para mas ma-organize natin yung mga drives, so, pwede tayo mag-perform ng multiple partitioning. And then next, we have the disk cleanup. So, para ma-delete yung mga temporary files, yung mga unwanted files. So, magpe-perform tayo ng disk cleanup. And then disk check, to check if may mga error yung drive natin and para ma-repair niya. And then this defragmenter is para ma-defrag or yung mga fragmented files, yung mga kalat-kalat na files para mas ma-organize niya. Okay? So, mas magagamit natin yan or magandang gamitin yung mga disk management software na yan para mas bumilis yung computer natin. Para hindi man para pagka sobrang bagal lang ng PC natin, medyo bumilis-bilis ng konti. Okay? So, yun yung pinaka-topic natin for today and ito yung mga sasagutan nyo. So, first, we have the learning task number 4. So, for the learning task 4, you're going to choose the definition from column A. So, with the correct terminology in the column B. So, ito yung mga meaning niya and then saan ba yung correct terminology na para sa kanya. Okay, so sasagutan niya sa papel, sa intermediate pad. Ayan, so may copy rin naman kayo, may module din. The next, learning task number 5. So you're going to classify the words below according to the correct function. So copy the guide given below on separate sheet of paper. Ayan. So you're going to classify the verbs below according to the correct function. So temporary internet files, saan ba yun dyan? Multiple operating system, saan ba yun dyan? Okay. Next, we have the learning task number 6. So, multiple choice lang to. Gagawin nyo lang, you're going to choose the letter of the correct answer. So, sagot na lang yan. And then, last is yung learning task number 7. So, you're going to list down at least 5 importance ng defragmentation and partitioning and its effect in a computer's performance. So, dito natin makikita if nakinig kayo kanina. So, parang medyo konting reflection. Kasi check natin if ano ba yung pagkakaintindi natin dun sa defragmentation and partitioning. So, pwedeng Tagalog yan. Okay lang na Tagalog. Okay? So, yun yung mga gagawin natin for this lesson. So, we have learning task 4, 5, 6, and then 7. Okay? So, if merong questions, so chat nyo na lang ako sa FB Messenger. If wala naman, so sagutan natin and then ipasa rin natin sa tamang oras. Okay? So, with that, so yun yung pinaka-lesson natin. And thank you and goodbye class.